Hello, hello, and welcome to Oracle Hour. My name is Sabrina Rising. I'm a spiritual teacher and a psychic medium, and it's my honor to channel spirit on your behalf. For tonight, we've got a beautiful show in store for you. We're going to dive into the concept of loneliness, the idea of loneliness, and of course, the experience of loneliness, as it can be very real for so many of us, especially during the holidays. So, we're going to dive into this topic, overcoming loneliness and opening our hearts up into love. So, if you're new here, welcome. If you are a part of our inner Oracle community, please put your question in the chat. I always prioritize our members. You get priority access in the chat, that is. If you are a seeker, which is level 1, tier 1 of the membership, then we invite you to upgrade to the Inner Oracle community membership, which is tier 2. The tier 1 seeker access is actually something we're phasing out towards the end of this year. So for those of you that are members, please go to the posts link that Lyriel is going to put up here for us in a moment, and check out the post for members, so that there it is. Thank you, Lyriel. So check out the post for members so that you can upgrade your membership and enjoy the perks of priority access in the chat. Especially when we get going here, we get a lot of questions, and not everybody gets their questions answered week after week. So please go ahead and upgrade your membership, and you get access to our members only classes, workshops, psychic galleries, mediumship demonstrations. You also get access to our live gallery every month that I do in a group environment. So you can come and receive messages and interact with me in Zoom, in a Zoom environment. And you also get access to my private Facebook community of Inner Oracle community members. And we do lots of fun things in the Facebook group as well. There is every week I teach a topic. On Tuesday mornings, I go live in the group. And on Fridays, we do some fun tarot readings. Lyriel does some fun tarot readings for everybody there, and brings a message for the collective for the week and the energy for the month as well. So that's something to consider while you stay for the whole broadcast. Of course, I say that every week. And the reason I say that is because the messages that come through are not just for you, for the person I'm interacting with, but they're for everybody, including myself. It's important that we recognize that we're, not alone in our journey of personal development, spiritual development. And as we open up our hearts to receiving messages, we connect to this community. We listen to other people's interactions as well, other people's readings as well. We allow those messages to move us, to open us up, and perhaps to activate something that we may not have been conscious of prior to this evening. Okay, so it's so important when first of all, to heal publicly in a community environment is so powerful, because we can support each other, we can hear each other, we can empathize with each other, and we can really celebrate each other's wins. Okay, which is something that I really advocate for, especially in our group, and we're all so good at it. So keep doing that for each other, and also, like, when you're sharing, you may be activating something for someone else that they haven't thought of, or they don't have the courage to talk about, or perhaps they're afraid or self-conscious to put their question in the chat. Okay, so please feel free to share. This is a loving, supportive, non-judgmental community. We've got you. I've got you. Spirit has got you. Put your question in the chat, and let me channel spirit on your behalf. Okay, so I'm going to take a moment here just to say hello to some of our members, and then we'll jump into our topic for this evening. I see Rhonda. I see Vicky. Hello, Vicky. I see Marianne. Nice to see you. Welcome. Hi, Sybil. Welcome back. Hi, Shiloh. Good to see you. Hello, Emily. Hi, Jolie. Nice to see you here tonight. Okay, beautiful. Thank you, everybody, for being here with me live. I think we're not streaming on Instagram. I'm not sure, but if we are, Lyriel, maybe you can just put a post in stories that we're live on YouTube. Amazing. Okay, so let's talk about loneliness. Okay, so loneliness is it can be, first of all, it's a result of so many different things. It's a result of our conditioning. So whatever you experience in early childhood in terms of how to share yourself or how to not share yourself, and this, in fact, I want to say this before we get into the topic, loneliness is a byproduct of your ability to feel like you belong, to feel seen, to feel heard, to feel recognized within a community environment. Okay, and that can be a large community, it can be a small community, as small as your family, it can be even as small as just you and your partner in your relationship. So we can be surrounded by people and still feel lonely. And the reason that happens is because we're not sharing ourselves. Okay, so loneliness happens when we don't share ourselves, when we don't connect to something more powerful than us as well. So that would be the second part, is I feel lonely when I feel like it's just me, when I'm in my 3D awareness and I don't have a spiritual practice that connects me to something bigger than myself. Okay, so these are the two things that we would do. These are the two steps to remedy loneliness, is to first of all start sharing yourself with the people in your environment, the people that you feel safe with, that you trust, that you love, that love you. So, and sharing yourself requires some courage. And for some of us, so many of us, it requires some inner work to get comfortable with the concept of sharing, to feel safe with sharing ourselves, to feel safe to be fully transparent, right? And you might be wondering, well, there's things about myself that I don't want to share, or I don't want people to know about me, or I can't handle being seen at this level, or perhaps you believe that people aren't interested in what you have to share, or they're not, you're not worthy of this type of intimacy and connection in your relationships. And that is the inner work part that we need to do to heal this idea that it's not safe to share ourselves. Okay, so this is so important. Okay, especially if you're somebody who, like, doesn't go out often. Perhaps you work from home, perhaps you don't have a family that you're living with, or you don't live with other people, you live by yourself. If you're in it physically alone a lot of the time, and you don't have a spiritual practice, and you don't have a community that you participate in or belong in, whether it's online or physically in person, then you would experience deep loneliness, because we are wired as humans for connection. We are wired for connection, and community is actually one of our fundamental needs as human beings. We need to feel like we belong to something, even if it's just in our family environment, or even our relationships, as I mentioned earlier, our one-to-one relationships with our significant others, with our children, with our friends, and so on. Okay, so this is so important for us to be able to connect the dots here and understand that connecting to our own sense of loneliness is about being willing to be in transparent dialogue with people that are close to us, and being willing to even form those relationships. Perhaps you don't have close people in your life because you've been keeping yourself safe, because you've been guarding yourself, because you've been protecting yourself from being hurt, rejected, abandoned, betrayed, whatever the wounds were in your early childhood. We would replay those wounds unconsciously in our adult life in different situations and circumstances. We do this so that we can heal. And for those of you that are here week after week, you hear me talk about this all the time. We talk about early childhood conditioning, and the beliefs that are established during this early childhood phase are the beliefs that will govern your entire existence. They will shape your reality for as long as you're not willing to take 100% responsibility for the quality of your experience, and to shift your beliefs so that you can have an inner catharsis, release, a heart opening experience that allows you to embody the new beliefs that will change your circumstances. Okay, so, and again, this is very, very important. If your belief system is influencing every cell in your body. So if you were abandoned in childhood, and you believe that you're a person who gets abandoned in love, that love leaves you, or love gets taken away somehow, whether you believe that consciously or unconsciously, you're going to manifest the evidence of that in your relationships. And so you'll have so much evidence to say this is the way it is, but it's not until you shift your beliefs about what's possible that you actually start to see new evidence. Okay, this is just basic, level 1 metaphysical work. And so for those of you that are new to spiritual development work, or you're new on your healing journey, just keep an open mind and really try to listen with your heart to what I'm saying. So you can have an abandonment wound that you have to be willing to acknowledge, be aware that it's there, understand where it's coming from, and then change your beliefs about what's possible. Even if you're just willing to believe that something different is possible, that's a great beginning. Willingness opens the door, just kind of a little bit of a crack open, right? And then it brings in this new momentum, this new energy. You start to see it trickle in. The willingness, now all of a sudden I feel like there's some shred of possibility, of hope for something new to happen, to occur in my life. Okay, so as I practice the willingness to believe something different, and then as soon as I start to get a little bit of evidence that things can be different, I can drop the willingness and step into I am I have, which is more the embodiment energy that we're looking for when we're trying to change our circumstances. Okay. So, again, if you're in a place in your life where you're lonely or you're feeling lonely, especially during the holiday season, this time can be very triggering for so many of us that don't have family, that don't have loved ones or friends or communities that we belong to, especially if you live alone. Okay. So, really, I want you to meet yourself with unconditional love and compassion and softness, and just understand that the reason you're alone is because there's a part of you that has been keeping yourself safe for so long from whatever wounds were established in childhood. And now is the time, especially if you're done being lonely and you really want to get your needs met and you want to feel connected to something bigger and more powerful than you, not just other humans. It's wonderful to have, a community of people. As I mentioned, this is a fundamental need that we have as humans. But like, to be really fulfilled and to really experience that deep sense of connection where you're alone and never lonely, we must have a spiritual practice. We absolutely have to have some connection to something bigger than us, some higher power. It can be nature, it can be the universe, it can be God, it can be source consciousness, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's something bigger than your 3D awareness, the understanding that we are connected. We live in a holographic universe. So everything reflects everything. We are connected to all of life, plant, animal, human life. We're all connected. So again, just being able to, first of all, do the inner work to shift your beliefs about what's possible for you in your life and your relationships, and that it's safe to be fully self-expressed. It's safe to be transparent about who you are. And when you test this out with other people, if you notice that there's some people that can't handle your transparency or can't meet you in love when you're being transparent, now what you're doing is you're learning to identify what relationships are meant for you and what relationships are not. Okay. So, and that's its own conversation. That could be a different topic on a different evening. We talk about how, we start to vet the relationships in our lives by learning to be more transparent and more honest with ourselves and with, our environment, about who we are, what, serves us, what doesn't serve us, what meets our needs and what does not. Okay. So again, doing the inner work to change the belief about what's possible for you in your life, and then really practicing, again, the changing of the beliefs. I am willing to connect with like-minded people in my community. I'm willing to manifest deep and meaningful relationships with like-minded people. You've heard me say this affirmation so many times. The willingness to believe that there's people out there for you, that there's people that are like you, requires you to give up this idea that you're safer on your own. It requires you to give up the idea that you don't belong, or that people are not like you, or that they're not going to understand you. Okay. It requires you to believe that you can find people that you will connect with and resonate with if you're just simply open to receiving that. Okay. So, and this is how we become open to receiving love. We shift our beliefs about what's possible. We do the inner work to heal our wounds from childhood. And then we now start to develop a spiritual practice. Okay. So these go hand in hand. As we do the inner work to heal our wounds, we're connecting to spirit while we do this. And I advocate for this on a regular basis. It doesn't matter where you are on the timeline of your personal development journey. Your soul, if your soul is here tonight, listening to me, listening to this message, you did not get here by accident. Okay. So, again, mindfulness practice doesn't have to be a big, long thing. It can be 5 to 10 minutes of deep diaphragmatic breathing, putting your hand on your heart and just being willing to connect to something bigger than you, to feel the presence of your loved ones, your guides, your spirit team, God, nature, the universe, whatever resonates for you, and inviting that energy in so that you can really feel the presence of love surrounding you. And then eventually, with enough practice, you feel the presence of love emerging from within. And that's a beautiful, beautiful moment when that happens, because we start to feel our essence. We start to feel the essence of unconditional love that emerges from within, that is essentially who we are, especially when we peel back all the layers of fear and sadness and loneliness and conditioning and all of the layers of that happened in early childhood. Okay. So keep in mind that if you're lonely, it's because you're disconnected, and you've either done that, consciously to keep yourself safe, unconsciously to continue to maintain that illusion of safety. And you've also done that by not creating a practice, not having a practice, not having a relationship with something bigger than you. Okay, so these two things are really important, and they must happen together in order for you to have some kind of shift, some kind of transformation, to be able to open your heart and fully receive that unconditional love that is your essence, to fully remember it and to be able to express it in your everyday life, in your relationships, so that you can see it being reflected back to you in your everyday relationships as well. Okay, so when we learn to emerge from loneliness as a shell of self-protection, and as an evolved being with now a spiritual connection, a spiritual practice, we start to embody unconditional love, and we start to feel more fulfilled. And it doesn't matter if you have people around you or not, you never actually feel lonely anymore, because deep down inside, we know, on a soul level, we know that we're never alone. We're always accompanied by spirit. We're always accompanied by our spirit team, our loved ones, and essentially God. When we walk with God, we never feel lonely. And of course, this is my wish for you and for me and for all beings everywhere. Okay, so thank you so much for hanging in there with me live. Hello, I see we have more people joining us. Good to see you all. Hi, Jenna. Hello, Kimberly. Nice to see you. Hi, Jonathan. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. Okay, so if anybody has questions, if you're struggling with loneliness, especially during this holiday season, please let us love you. Put your question in the chat. Say hello. Support each other. Let yourself receive this evening. This is so important. I love to just relate to this broadcast as like a sacred field of energy, where we can feel loved and held and supported and receive the guidance that we need, not just from our spirit team and our higher selves and our loved ones, but from each other as well. Okay, so please put your comments in the chat. Shiloh says, I tried creating a social music event day before Thanksgiving, thinking surely there must be a lonely person at Complex. Not one responded to it, so I pampered myself. I love that. I love that you didn't get discouraged. Thank you for sharing that, Shiloh. That's very inspiring, and don't give up, because your people are out there. I know, Shiloh, that I think you're in a new environment, new neighborhood, new place. So, it's important that, again, if you're taking the actions to connect with other people, this is a beautiful step. Making sure that you are in alignment with the belief that there's people out there for you. Okay. So, and the other thing I want to say, Shiloh, just because you came up on screen, as I'm tuning into your energy, is that, we got to learn to trust that there's good people in the world, right? We got to learn to trust that there's people who will love you and see you and connect with you and meet you at that point of reciprocity, which I know has been missing in so many of your relationships. Okay. So keep doing what you're doing, but do it from the energy of like, I believe that this is going to work. I believe that there are people out there. I believe that there are people that are like me, like-minded people who love what I love, that I can really connect with. Okay. Shiloh says, I'm working on that. Yeah. And that's why I mentioned it, because that's where the work is. It's not so much about the actions you take. Of course, we have to take action, right? We must do that regardless of what it is, whatever it is you want to manifest. Things don't fall out of the sky. You have to get into alignment and then take aligned action. But the action without the alignment is pointless. Okay. And all it's going to do is accumulate more evidence that you are on your own, and that you are lonely, and that there is no one out there for you. Okay. So it's important to really trust and believe that there are people that you don't have to take care of, that, are not there to take from you, that are not a threat to your happiness or your inner peace, that actually just will nourish your soul. Okay. And that's actually a good affirmation for you, Shiloh, is I am manifesting friendships with like-minded people who nourish my soul. That's a beautiful affirmation for you. Okay. To shift your beliefs around that. Beautiful. Anybody else with comments on community and loneliness? Or otherwise, we'll jump into the first question. We are doing live readings. We do live readings every Wednesday and Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific. So if you have a question about your path, if you want a psychic reading about what's next for you, if you just want to connect to your higher self, please put your question in the chat. Charlotte says, I love that. Thank you. Good. Beautiful. Vicky says, hello, Sabrina and community. This evening's topic is one that hits home. Beautiful. Sabrina, am I on the right path for retiring, but finding remote work, obtain health insurance? All right. So I'm going to tune into this question here in a moment. Okay. Yeah. So it's really time for you to get out of the house, and to really step out um and take some chances with yourself. You've been in this long period of recovery, it feels like, Vicky, where you've been home and sort of tending to yourself. And unconsciously, you've sort of developed this yeah, you've sort of developed this idea that you need to be home because you don't have enough energy, or you need to be home because it's just safer, or like you've sort of been cocooning for such a long time that even getting out of the house feels jumping over a hurdle. It feels like there's a lot to overcome to get you to move your body. Okay. So, what I want to say as far as channeled guidance is concerned, and we'll talk about career in a second. The first thing that's coming through for you is to move your body, actually move your body. So, it would be really good for you to go and do a yoga class or Pilates, something that's gentle. I would actually suggest yin. I don't know if you've ever heard of that or done it, but yin yoga is a very gentle, very restorative practice, very feminine energy. Even qigong is really good for that. Just learning how to move energy in a very slow way, really being present and in your body fully, because your body is still healing, it seems like. So I want you to really listen to this message, because this is what's going to help shift your idea and belief about what's possible in your body and what's possible in your belief system and in your life, and that will open up some space for you. Okay. So in terms of being on the right path, um I think the remote work is there. I want to say that there is actually an opportunity to work remotely within the company that you're already in. And I don't know if you've fully explored that, but there is a conversation to be had. Should you choose that as a viable pathway, I think it would be fine as long as you're getting your community needs met. Okay. Because there is this sort of cocooning energy that I'm feeling around you. So I don't want you to retract and pull away, withdraw from the world fully. I want you to stay present and stay connected to the world around you. Your energy system needs that. You actually feed off of that, okay, in terms of your energy system. So yeah, I feel like there isn't really a shift from it's either the same job or the same type of job that you can do remotely, or within the same organization, but it just feels like a kind of just a like a little shift, like a little move into something new. So that's coming, and I don't think the insurance is going to be a problem. I think that's already taken care of. So again, this is about you trusting that you're safe and provided for. Okay, those are the three things I want to share with you: is moving your body, connecting with a community of people that are healing their bodies, because your body needs that. There's a lot of messages around your physical health tonight, and that will help open up the pathway, open up the energy, open up the experience of new possibilities, and shifting into this remote work will really support that. Vicky says, okay, thank you. Yes. Okay, good. Beautiful. So that will support that. But the body first, and then the shifting into the work environment. And the reason that question about the health insurance comes in is like important is because there are physical issues, right? So you see how we're going to reverse engineer this. You're going to take care of your physical needs first. You're going to take care of your moving your body and shifting the energy and moving energy and believing that you can heal yourself, and that will be less of an issue, less of a fear, less of a concern. Okay, so I want you to step out of the consciousness as trying to maintain what you have, and create a consciousness that's going to allow you to really step into what you need and what you deeply desire. Okay, that's my message for you, Vicky. Thank you for being here tonight. Right. And of course, for all of you that are getting your questions answered, if you want to go deeper with me, you can always book a reading. Lyra will put the link up here shortly for those of you that want to book. There we go. There's a link for readings. Come and see me in a one-to-one so we can go deeper, and I can give you some medical intuition as well, especially for you, Vicky. Okay. Vicky says, yes, physical. Okay. All right, good. Yeah. Yeah. Some medical intuition would be good for you. Okay. Who's next? Hi, Rhonda. Rhonda says, Sabrina, please check in with my spirit guides and my dad if there's anything they want me to know. Thank you. Okay. I will check in with your guides. I will tune into your higher self and see if there's anybody here for you. Um, So, yeah. Oh, so I mean, it's interesting that you're asking about your dad because we were doing. There is some thread around stepping into your masculine and stepping into your experience of the masculine and healing that. Okay, so there is some energy around like learning to feel safe in the presence of the masculine, learning to feel um trust and softness in the presence of the masculine. Of course, there's two ways that we can do this. We have to heal the masculine within ourselves. Okay, so your own masculine presence, and then healing that will open you up to relationships with men that feel safe and feel nourishing and feel like you can relax and trust yourself in these relationships. Okay, this is what your guides want you to know. Yeah, I feel the presence of your father just because I know we've talked about him before. We've talked to him before. um yeah, I want to say, like, he says, don't give up on love. Don't give up on opening up your heart to love. And he wasn't there to love you. Dad wasn't present um to show you love and to show you that you were special and to show you that you were worthy of love and worthy of feeling that paternal connection that we need as humans, and a part of our 3D experiences, getting that caregiver, our needs met from our caregivers so that we can feel whole and we can feel connected and secure and safe. And so many of us don't have that, and that's missing for you, the connection with father. Okay, so part of your dharma in this lifetime has been to heal that wound, that disconnection with father. And your dad wants you to know that he's helping you heal that. He's helping you heal that by slowly ushering opportunities, helping to usher in opportunities that will allow you to connect with men and connect with the masculine in a way that's very healing for you. Okay, so don't give up on meeting men and opening up your heart to men and finding love and loving relationship. Okay, that's the message from your guides, and that's the message I have for you tonight. This is so important because I feel like there's some guardedness there, self-protection. Of course, all humans do this. We all, regardless of how evolved we are, how long we've been on this journey, we're all doing some version of that, some version of guarding ourselves fully. Otherwise we'd be fully liberated. We'd be enlightened, right? So again, this is just about peeling back fear and trusting love. And again, this is what we're talking about tonight, is coming out of loneliness and opening our hearts to love. We do that by connecting with spirit, but also by shifting our beliefs about what's possible for us in our lives. Okay, so that's the message I want to give you, Rhonda, for your connection with your dad. um He's showing me like a pink and yellow scarf too. It looks like a silk scarf or something like that. It's got little designs on it. And I don't know if there's one that you wear, but he likes it when you wear the scarf. So feel free to validate as well. Okay, in the comment section. And this is new member. Oh, good, good. Thank you for joining. This is my message for you tonight, Rhonda. Okay, and I will trust what you're saying and stay open to love. Thank you. Okay, beautiful. Yeah, amazing. Good to see you, Rhonda. Okay, who's next? Hi, Jolie. Jolie says, this message feels timely. Good, beautiful. I have a friendship that I believe has come to an end, but I'm not entirely sure what I'm feeling about it. Do you pick up on anything around it? We're coming out of a year 9, and I say this, we're going to talk about this more in December, towards the end of the year. We're coming out of this year of like death and transformation and endings and new beginnings and shedding of old skins and old relationships as that no longer serve us. Um, this it's a female, feels like a female energy, and I want to say that this girlfriend, I don't feel like there's anything particularly wrong with this, to use a term that I don't particularly care for, but like it's not like there's no red flags for me. Okay, there's no warning signs around this individual. It's more like you don't feel well when you hang out with this person, and I want you to pay attention to your body, because your body has information, it has wisdom. In fact, the gut, the solar plexus, is the first mind. So it knows before your mind knows what works for you and what doesn't work for you. You can feel it in your body that this person is, a low vibrational frequency. She's bringing you down. There is kind of like a very negative, very victim mentality that she's operating from. And we really feel it, especially when we're on a spiritual development journey, which I know you're on, Jolie. And, we're trying to uplift ourselves. We're shifting our beliefs. We're doing our spiritual practice. We're meditating. We're connecting with God and our guides and, creating a life. She says, yes, that's exactly right. Okay, good. So when you're connecting and you're trying to like open up your heart to new possibilities and manifest, your deepest desires, this is energetic hygiene. This question is all in alignment with energetic hygiene. So energetic hygiene is, who am I talking to? What am I saying? What am I spending my time watching? What am I eating? What am I drinking? How am I managing and being responsible for my own frequency, right? So aligning with others that don't share a level of consciousness with you, that are in a lower realm, for not because they're lower, but because they're just participating in different beliefs, or they have wounds that they haven't resolved, or they're still in some kind of pain, or they're still in victim mode, is going to act like a gravitational force. It's going to pull you down, and it's going to be hard. It's going to start to feel really heavy and unpleasant. Okay. So trust your body. There's nothing wrong with her. Like I said earlier, there's nothing, like, she's not a mean person, bad person. This isn't the person who's going to betray you necessarily, although she does kind of gossip a little bit. Okay. And that's part of the whole victim energy. It's kind of a symptom of that realm of consciousness. Okay. So, I would lovingly detach and lovingly put space and boundaries between you and this person. Jolie says there's almost like a sense of trauma bonding, and I don't want a friendship based on those values. Yeah, exactly. So she represents an old version of you. Okay. So, which is beautifully put, that you understand that, this is kind of a trauma bond. So she represents this old version of you. You're evolving. And when we're on an evolutionary path, some relationships can't come with us. It's just part of the spiritual growth and the healing process, is to let go of things that no longer serve us. Okay. And this is the year to do this, you guys. It's the year to declutter, to move things out of your life that no longer serve you, to just get rid of all the dead weight, and of course I would do that with love and respect and gentleness. She's been your friend for quite some time. It feels like there's a lot of history there, but she can't come where you're going. So trust your intuition, trust your body, and lovingly set some boundaries with this person. You can start to say, I don't have the capacity for this, or this doesn't really resonate for me anymore, or I'm not really feeling this at this time, but that kind of thing. And she'll eventually get the point. And it feels like you will have to have some kind of direct conversation at some point and just say, my life is going in this way, and these conversations don't serve me. It'd actually be a gift to her if you did that, if you served her with some direct truth about where you're at, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. That would give her something to sit with, even if she'd be a little hurt at the beginning. Okay. But this is how we serve people. Unconditional love is not always, puppies and rainbows. Sometimes it's delivering the hard truth. It's telling people what can upset them, what maybe they don't want to hear, but we do it with love and respect and gentleness, just knowing that they are responsible for their own reaction. They're responsible for their own feelings. And that's the other thing you need to know, Jolie, is that you're not responsible for how she reacts to your boundaries and the space that you choose to take. Okay. So sometimes being able to hold a boundary is being okay with upsetting other people and making them uncomfortable. All right. So that's part of the process for you. Okay. So that's why I want to answer this question tonight, Julie. And thank you for asking it. Thank you for being here. Beautiful. Okay. Who else? Hi, Angela. Okay, let's see what I have for you. Any messages from Spirit? So what lands really deeply for me when I tune into your energy is that the vision that you have for yourself already exists. Okay. So you already have this idea of how you like, I feel like you've come out of this phase of like trying to imagine what might be possible or trying to figure it out. I feel like you've gotten very clear on how you want to live. And there's been a lot of clarity and a lot of decisiveness in your, just in your process, that you've gotten more clear on like how you want to live and how you want to feel, it seems like. Okay. So this version of you already exists. And now it's just about you doing the inner work and taking the aligned actions that are going to help invite this reality into your life. Okay. So this is less about struggle and making things happen. In fact, you've done so much that a spirit wants you to know that there's nothing left for you to do. Okay. You're like, um, you've done it. You're doing little maintenance things, it seems like, for your day to day, but there isn't a lot of effort or a lot of striving left for you to do. In fact, you're moving into a phase where you're just kind of, waiting for the invitation. You're waiting to attract that which wants you and seeks you and is magnetized to you. Okay. So, Angela says, yes, I have. Okay, good. So there's a lot of clarity around how, and this is what you need to stick with. I feel like you oscillate sometimes, though. Sometimes you are like, oh, this is it. This is the thing. And then you sort of talk yourself down from that and you go, maybe that's the thing, or maybe this is the thing. And so I want you to, Spirit wants you to commit to a vision that you have for your life and how you want to feel and how you want to act, or how you want to interact with the world on a day-to-day basis. This is how I feel in my career. This is how I feel in my body. This is how I feel in my relationships. These are the kind of relationships I have in my life. Like, get very specific with how you want to feel, and focus on that vision. Just focus on embodying that vision, and that's will help facilitate your process. Angela says, very clear. Okay, good. And the more clarity you have, oftentimes that's the thing that really creates the gap between where we are and where we want to be, is clarity, right? So once we're clear, it's like something clicks in us and we're able to live as if it's already happening, right? Live as if we're already there, live as if this is my life, right? So this is what the message I have for you tonight in terms of spirit. And your work is coming to an end as well. Your job situation is coming to a close. You're ending a very important, very long, very difficult chapter of your life. And so I want you to really practice the feeling of completion. Okay, this is complete now. There's no guilt. The guilt is what's keeping you hooked into the past. Okay. And I say this with love and respect, Angela. Like, there's some guilt that you're feeling around letting go, or I will try to keep distractions at bay, she says. Okay. So that's good. I want to say something about that. Let me just finish on this thread that I'm on. The guilt is keeping you in places you don't want to be in anymore. Okay. And even though there's a lot of clarity about what you want, I feel like this clarity loses momentum at times because of the guilt that you're feeling, or the guilt that you're experiencing, that you're allowing yourself to indulge in. Okay. Because guilt is, this is self-inflicted. All right. So I want you to just, again, notice and give yourself permission to move on from this thing guilt-free. Spirit is giving you a very clear message that you've done what you need to do. There's nothing left for you to do. You're complete. And just practice that feeling of, I'm complete with this. And I'm giving myself permission to move forward without guilt. Guilt can act like such an anchor, especially even when we're clear, right? Like, if your energy is not letting you move forward because you feel like you can't let go. Okay. So this is very important, is to deal with the guilt. This is a major block. And if you can undo this, I think it's really going to propel you in the next direction. Okay. Angela says, very powerful message. Okay. Thank you. I'm glad that resonated for you. Keeping distractions at bay is not going to work. I understand where you're coming from, and I appreciate the sentiment, but we can't keep distractions at bay. All we can do is notice them and and just allow them to be there. It's kind of like meditation, right? And you can't clear your mind as a person who meditates. All you can learn to do is be okay with a mind that's never going to be clear, because the mind is not clear. The mind is just full of chatter, and rolling thoughts come in all the time. What happens when you have a strong meditation practice is you just learn to be equanimous with what your mind is doing. You learn to not indulge your distractions. So it's not about keeping them at bay. It's really about noticing them and meeting your distractions with compassion and non-judgment, and bringing yourself back to center, back to the present moment, back to your breath, back to your spiritual practice, which I hope that you are cultivating for yourself, so that you can feel anchored in something. You're going to need it. You're going to need a lot of strong faith and knowingness to manifest the life that you really desire, and especially to let go of all the guilt. Okay, so that's going to help catapult you into the next dimension of existence, as we say. Letting go of the guilt is big for you, and I'm assuming, because the message is coming in so strong, that it's for a lot of you here tonight. Okay. Thank you for your advice. Angela says, you're welcome. My pleasure, and my love to you. Okay. I hope that was helpful. And who's next? Heidi. Hello, Heidi. Welcome to Oracle Hour. Hi, Sabrina. Heidi says, so as you know, I've begun dating again. Yay! I'm doing online form, and I'm really struggling finding a good connection. Meeting lots, just hitting delete, it seems often. This is part of the process, Heidi. I think this is a good place for you to be in right now, because you're just coming into dating, and you're just coming into putting yourself out there, and you're just coming into the message about letting go of guilt, by the way, that came through for Angela, is also really relevant to you. It's coming in very strongly as I'm channeling for you. There is I want you to lean into opening your heart. Okay. So tonight's topic is about, coming out of loneliness and opening our hearts to love. And sometimes we feel lonely because, we're not getting our needs met. And we are indulging in some of these low vibrational emotions like guilt or shame and, sadness and fear. Okay. That can create the experience of loneliness as well. So as you're giving yourself permission to lean into love and the possibility of love, and that it's okay for you to be happy, and it's okay for you to move on with your life and to have your needs met in this way, I want you to really just trust that the people that you're clicking with or not clicking with online in this online forum are really just mirroring back to you. It feels like you're in a period of vetting and of getting clarity, as I mentioned with Angela as well, just getting the clarity about what it is that you deeply desire, what you're looking for, and that point of reciprocity. Okay, what that point of reciprocity looks like. All right, so again, I'll give you my psychic hit. I like to answer these questions in two ways. I always give my spiritual guidance, and I give my psychic hit as well. As you know, I really feel like this is a spring thing. Like I feel like like birds, and I feel like flowers. I smell flowers around you. I feel like there's like a new sunlight. It just feels like the energy of spring season. So I want to say that during this phase, especially over the holiday season, to be lighthearted around the dating. Don't go into it looking for something to happen, or like expecting anything. Just notice your level of expectation around this. I want you to engage in like some playfulness and genuine open curiosity, because you are discovering yourself in this process. You're not just looking for new men, you're looking for parts of you that are being activated in this process that have been dormant for so long, right? That just haven't been present. And so this is what Spirit wants you to know is to really engage in this in a playful, genuinely curious, open way. I feel like the person you meet is not online. Actually, I actually feel like you meet somebody in person. So I don't want to discourage you from the online dating, because I think it's a good exercise for you. And in fact, I think it's a good exercise for everybody to create a profile and to engage in conversations and to see what's out there and to see, to get that feedback. It can be a very beautiful sort of training ground, if you will, And then keeping your heart open, just really keeping your trusting, letting go of the guilt, letting go of the fear, being willing to love fully. Okay. Heidi says that's good advice and takes the pressure off. Yeah, good, beautiful. Just genuine, open-hearted playfulness, and just stay open. And the more you entertain the idea of being romantic and playful and happy and sensual and receiving compliments, practice receiving, especially if you're connecting online, just practice what it feels like to receive. This will open up your energy and will help accelerate the process of meeting someone. Okay. And I do feel like, from a psychic perspective, this is going to happen in person around the spring, and especially in your community. Feels like you're involved in some kind of local event or local community outing or something like that. That's where this happens for you. Okay. So you'll come back and let me know how that unfolds. All right, Heidi. Thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for asking the question. Beautiful. Okay, Marianne. Nice to meet you, Marianne. Hi. So she says, hi, new to you. Welcome to our Oracle community. Please, can I ask if there are any past reunions coming? Maybe new doors of opportunities opening soon. Thank you. Okay, Marianne, let me see what I have for you. It's interesting, because I feel the presence of either an aging mother, um, even a grandmother energy. So it's like maternal line is really around you. So your mom and your grandmother in spirit. Mom feels like she's either aging or like you've had to take care of her somehow. You've been a sort of in a caregiver role, it feels like. And perhaps that's true for you as a person, that you're someone who, gives over gives and is a natural caregiver. Um, Yeah, when you say past reunions, it feels like there's loved ones in spirit that want to communicate with you, especially your grandmother. Okay. Grandmother in spirit. Okay. Yeah. Mom is earth side, but I feel like yeah, there's a lot of healing to do with your mother. The grandmother in spirit wants to facilitate this. Like, she wants to help you sort of let go or make peace with the relationship with your mother. This is going to help, your meet yourself with love and acceptance. Okay, so there's a part of you, Marianne, she says, yes, I'm a carer. Okay, good. So I feel that when I tune into you. So there's a part of you that really needs to learn how to love and accept yourself exactly as you are. Right. And this is the message for you tonight, is to see yourself as whole and complete. Of course, this is a message for everybody. If you're struggling with self-esteem, or if you're struggling with connection and you feel like you're not getting your needs met, or perhaps you get lost in your relationships because you feel like you have to take care of everybody else and you're sort of last to get your needs met, which I believe is your story. Yes, abandoned by mother. Okay, good. So that makes sense. Grandmother in spirit is facilitating this healing that needs to happen with your mom. Okay. I don't know if your mom is I feel like she's either very ill, or she's maybe, not living with you, but living, sort of in a environment where she even if you tried to talk to her in 3D, you may not be able to reach her. Okay. So, but you can reach her. You can talk to her higher self. You can do the work to heal and to forget and to create forgiveness inside this relationship. Okay. So forgiveness is a very important process for those of us that want to heal, for those of us that really want to embody unconditional love, because it acts as a portal to unconditional love. It's so important to have this context. Okay. Mom is in a care home. Okay, good. So this is what I'm feeling. She's in hospice or something like that. And so it feels like you, even if you tried to talk to her, like I said, in 3D, you can't fully reach her. There's a lot of pain here between the two of you. So I would recommend doing some inner work, inner child work. I have a video on my YouTube channel called How to Heal the Mother Wound. It's in my library. Please go and check it out. It's free. It's you don't have to be a member to watch it. And I would start there, because there's a lot of conditioning around your relationship with your mom. And it's part of the reason why you feel like the abandonment wound is part of the reason why you're struggling in your career, you're struggling in your self-expression, you're struggling to figure out who you are because you don't know what your needs are, right? So, you're not connected to what those needs are. All right. So career opportunities feels like this is a like different question coming from a different energy, but it's connected to your need for survival and feeling safe in the world, which you didn't get from your mom. Grandmother in spirit is here to sort of help usher this conversation between the three of you, essentially, so that you can make peace with your mom's decision and what she did to you, and how you experienced that, and the pain that caused in your life, feeling unloved, unworthy of love, and second guessing your worth, in every area of your life, which is part of what's affecting your career opportunities. Okay. So there's a lot of deep inner work that needs to be done to bring your beliefs online so that you can have the possibility of love in your life. You can come out of loneliness, which is what we're talking about tonight, and really open up your heart to new relationships and new possibilities, and new ways of advocating for yourself as well. Okay. Marianne says, I have been abandoned by mother, daughter, and elder brother. Yeah. So this is a big abandonment wound. Huge. Okay. So, and again, it's the feminine that we're dealing with tonight. I mean, I know you're talking about brother too. But yeah, this is part of what's keeping you ostracized from these environments that you'd like to penetrate, like career opportunities and communities and so on, is this deep, deep abandonment wound that you have. Okay. So I would love to go deeper with you. Of course, there's only so much we can accomplish on YouTube in a few minutes. Please book a reading. Illyria will put the link here for you. Come and see me in a one-to-one so we can communicate with your grandmother, and I can help you heal the relationship with your mom so that you can move out of this funk, out of this pain of sadness and loneliness that you're in. And you don't, here's the thing. Healing is not about reconnecting with the people that have harmed you or that don't treat you properly with respect and kindness and compassion, who can't meet you at that place of reciprocity and love. It's about making peace with the part of you that feels hurt by it, triggered by it, rejected by it, and abandoned by it. And once you make peace with that part of you and you learn how to source the love that you need from your higher self, from God, from nature, again, these are all synonyms of each other. When you learn to fill your own cup, then you come out of loneliness and you're opening yourself up to love. You're opening yourself up to new relationships, so relationships with like-minded people who see your value, who are willing to connect with you in love, to meet you in that place of love. Okay. So it's very hard to accomplish great things, on the circumstantial level, on the material plane, when we have very unresolved wounds from early childhood, conditioned beliefs that keep us stuck, that keep us safe, that keep us small. Okay. So everything feels like a struggle. All right. So if you haven't done the inner work to free yourself of these beliefs and to heal those wounds, it's really difficult to find success, to find joy, to find happiness, sustainable joy, okay, in our lives, and sustainable peace, which is essentially what we all want, is that deep sense of peace and fulfillment. Okay. So that's my message for you, Marianne. I think it's important for you to have a reading and to do some deep inner work. You can start by watching the How to Heal Your Mother Wound video in my library. Okay. And come back and leave a comment. Let me know how that worked out for you. All right. I'm sending you all my love and support in the meantime. Okay. Marianne says, thank you, Sabrina. You're welcome. You're welcome. Shiloh says, hi, Oracle community. And Sabrina, any words of glimmer for me this evening? I think we already answered. We already talked to Shiloh tonight. There we go. Emily says, is the Scorpio I am talking to potentially my person? Okay, Emily. I love the specificity of this question. Okay, so I don't normally, I try to stay away from these type of predictions because there's so much free will involved. But my first hit is yes, there is wonderful potential here. Okay. There is wonderful potential here because the person that you're talking to has been through a lot and is very deep and very self-aware. I feel like this person has recently had some kind of shift or some kind of breakthrough. So they've had some kind of big change recently, and it's really recontextualized their relationship to dating, to love, to romance, and they're looking for depth and connection. Okay, so Emily, you might find that this person is a little intense or a little bit like, you know, yeah, just really coming in hot, in all the ways. And, it's going to be up to you to sort of pace yourself in terms of how you get to know this person and how fast the relationship unfolds. Okay. It just really I want to say, just take your time to really get to know him and allow this to unfold organically. But I feel like the connection is very strong. I feel like the chemistry is really strong, and there is a really good possibility. What I like about the energy that I'm picking up on is that this person feels very self-aware, which is great. We want someone who's self-aware. We want someone who's open. I think he's also open to like spiritual practices or mysticism or that kind of thing. So it would be good to bring in some of this, these conversations to see, how much you really have in common with this person, because I feel like you can go very deep in conversation with this person and he can really understand you. Okay, so I like this energy, and I want you to go very slow, because I feel like you could possibly kind of be totally engulfed in it, like totally immersed in it. And that could be a little problematic for you, especially because your energy feels very light and his feels very intense. So you could lose your equilibrium a little bit. Okay. So I want you to just be mindful of that. That's why I want you to go slow and make sure that you feel sovereign and empowered every step of the way, as far as developing this relationship and going as deep as it can go, which is very deep. All right. That's my message for you, Emily. And let me know if that um if that resonates for you. Okay, if you are here getting readings, please validate in the chat. That way it makes for a better broadcast, and I know that you got the message. Okay, you can also come back and leave me comments at the end. Okay. Hi, Kimberly. Kimberly says, good evening, Sabrina. Happy belated Thanksgiving. Happy belated Thanksgiving to you too. Anything from my spirit guides? I feel 2026 is going to be great and lots of changes in my career path. Okay, good. Kimberly. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know if we've talked about horses before, but the first thing I saw with this was this big black horse, like black stallion. And I can see there's like, do you do I don't know if you do equestrian work or equine therapy or something like that, but there's horses involved in what you're building and what you're creating. I don't know if we've talked about this before, so please validate in the chat if you're still here. And I feel like there is also, this is good news for you. I feel like there is some kind of financial relief happening as well. So either an investor or some money is coming in, there's something that you're magnetizing to you because you've shifted out of scarcity. On some level, you've come out of scarcity internally, mentally, emotionally, and you have sort of connected with some people. Or if you haven't connected yet, I actually feel like you've made some connections, and there's more people coming that buy into the vision that you have. Okay, so these are all, yeah, it's just all kind of coming in really fast for you as far as 2026 is concerned. So it's good news for whatever it is that you're creating in your business. And I want to say the message for you is to really learn how to stand on your own 2 feet. 2026 is going to be all about that for you. Learning how to stand on your own 2 feet, to be sovereign, to be self-governing, to realize that you've got so much more power than you think you do. And you have the capacity to bring in the right people at the right time to help you fulfill the vision you have for your career path. This is very career and money oriented, the messages that I'm getting for you tonight. Okay. Of course, if you're still here, please validate. Otherwise, come back and leave a comment at the end of this video so that I know that the message landed for you and resonated for you. Okay, Kimberly? Thank you for being here. Beautiful. Okay, we'll take one more. I know it's 6 o'clock, but Sometimes I'm having too much fun. So here we go. Hi, Jenna. She said, hold on a second. Kimberly's validating. Let's see what she says. I have made multiple connections, many career oriented for 2026. Okay, good. Beautiful. Yes, all these connections are good. There are some good and potential investor connections. So money is, there is a sum that's coming in. It's going to help you fulfill on some projects that you're working on. All right. So exciting news for you in 2026. Thank you for validating. All right, let's hear from Jenna, and then we'll close the show for tonight. Jenna says, hi, Sabrina. I'm thankful for every opportunity to connect with spirit, and I'm wondering how many spirit guides do you see in my life? I see 2 men and a woman. This is such a beautiful question. I love this question for so many reasons. First of all, spirit is all that there is. Okay, so it's not just individuals that we may connect with. It's everything. Spirit is in everything. So it's not like, I don't want you to see your guides as like, you know, separate beings the way we would relate to each other in 3D. Okay, so your guides can be energy, essence, imagery, messages, visions, symbols. These can all be guides. Okay, and you're saying I see 2 men and a woman. I would say these are more ancestors. They can be guides as well. Ancestors can be guides, but guides don't necessarily have to be ancestors. Okay, so I actually see a few animals around you as well. So I see a cat. And I believe the 2 men that you're seeing on your paternal line, so father's father, and the woman could either be, I think it's your mom. And I mean, we have all of our ancestral line supporting us, so you have many, many more than just 3. You've got, it's interesting because I want to say that I feel the presence of a younger woman, a woman that you were friends with when you were much younger. And I think you're coming for a mediumship next week. So we'll dive deeper into it. But I feel the presence of a younger woman who it feels like you either went to college or high school or something like that. She is one of your guides as well. She's in spirit. And yeah, I feel like, we can't quantify the number because it's infinite. So there's like as many ancestors as you have, and as many symbols and connections and guidance that you've needed throughout the course of your life. Our guides change based on the phase of our evolutionary path. So you will have certain guides that will show up at certain points of your life, depending on what it is that you're working on, what it is that you're working through, and the kind of guidance that you need. Okay, so these are not fixed ideas, just like they're not fixed 3D humans. Okay, it's more the essence of spirit and who's coming in your life at whatever time for whatever message you need that's going to open your heart and facilitate deeper healing and deeper awareness and deeper embodiment of unconditional love, which is what we're all here to accomplish. Okay. So yeah, so the men and the women is your immediate family, but there's so much more around you at different times, again, based on what you need and based on what you're working on. Okay, so and the ones that I named are just a few of the more that I see, which I'm sure we'll go into in our reading. Okay, that's how I want to answer that message, Jenna. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you, everybody. She says, such an interesting concept to wrap your head around. I feel more energy since my son's death. Yeah, 100%. Of course, because you're so deeply missing your son and you're so deeply wanting to connect with him and you're so deeply, opening up your channel to communicate with your loved one, especially when you lose, someone, an immediate family member. This is normal that you start to experience their presence, and now you feel the presence of more and more and more. And this is where we recognize, as soon as we open up our channel, we recognize, oh, I have all of these guides around me. I have spirits been in my life my whole life. I just haven't been aware of it, right? So this is the death of your son has been the catalyst for a deep spiritual awakening, and it is for so many of us that have lost our loved ones, and that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing that this is bridging your connection to source, to spirit, and to the love that is all around you and ultimately within you as well. Okay, you're welcome, Jenna. It's my honor and my pleasure to connect you with these messages. Thank you, everybody, for joining me live. For those of you that got your questions answered, I'm so grateful for your questions because they help. Not only do they help you, they help me, but they help everybody who's paying attention, who's listening, who's interacting, who's watching live or the replay. For those of you that would like to join our community, we are growing in numbers and it's getting harder and harder for me to get it to everybody in the chat. So here's the link to join. You can interact with me more closely in Facebook. We have a private Facebook group where I teach every Tuesday morning. I teach a topic and we do some Q&A and I do some interacting with our members there. Of course, we have our Oracle Fridays or Tarot Fridays rather with Lyriel. And she does sort of a card pull for the collective energies and whatever it is you might be going through. And you get access to my membership content. So all of my spiritual library is open to members, everything from inner child work to manifesting work to meditation to learning how to get your needs met, learning nonviolent communication. All of that work is in the members only video database, which is yours if you join at Tier 2, the Inner Oracle Community membership. Okay, so please feel free to do that. Also, before I forget, we have gift cards. We have gift cards available for the holiday season, which Lyra made for us. They're beautiful. There's the link. If you want to give the gift of connection, if you want to give someone a psychic reading or a mediumship reading or a past life regression reading, or we have so many options to choose from, please go ahead and purchase a gift card. And that's applicable to any service on my website. I'd be happy to connect with your loved ones, with your friends, and so on. So there's the link for you. Okay, so thank you everybody who joined me tonight. And for those of you that didn't get your questions answered, if you can't wait till next Wednesday, feel free to book a reading and come and join me in a one-to-one. And the link for the reading, Leora will put that up just before we wrap up tonight. Okay. Genesis, thank you. And Jolie says, beautiful messages. Thank you and good night, everyone. Thank you, Jolie, for being here. Thank you, everybody. For those of you that are seekers, please upgrade your membership as we are fizzling out the seeker option towards the end of the year. Okay, so if you're a seeker and you're on the email list, you'll get an email with all the details. All right, thank you so much, everybody. I'm sending you all of my love. I will see you Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific. Good night.